In the headlines, the Caribbean Court of Justice awards costs which could run into millions of dollars to Irfaan and Bharrat Jagdeo in the Eslyn David elections case. A garbage collector is killed in a horrific accident involving a Canter truck whose driver suffered a heart attack. An early morning fire destroys the Chase Academy building and the Gifted Hands Special Needs School. Guyana records its 22nd COVID-19 death. And in sport, you'll hear the story of a young cricketer who is using a setback to make a comeback. With the news, I'm Avinash Ramzan. Thanks for joining us. We start.
David, an agent of the APNU-AFC coalition, had approached the court seeking to block the chief elections officer from presenting his final elections report reflecting the certified votes from a national vote recount or obeying the chairperson of GCOM. Those certified results showed that the PPP won the March 2nd general and regional elections by a handsome margin of 15,000 votes. However, the appeal court denied the request and attempted what would later be described by the CCJ as unlawful to interpret more votes cast to mean more valid votes are cast. The matter was then appealed by Ali and Jagdeo to the CCJ, and the Court of Appeal's decision was overturned. The costs awarded by the CCJ are to be paid unless there is an agreement between the parties not to do so, but according to the newly appointed Attorney General Anil Nandlal, an agreement is unlikely. Nandlal was one of the attorneys who represented Jagdeo and Ali in the case. Nandlal explained that the cost for two counsel will require an elaborate bill of costs to be submitted to the court, which would include all of the expenses associated with the two appeals. The cost will cover things such as stationery, photocopies, filing fees, preparation of pleadings, preparation of written submissions, preparations for oral arguments, and appearances in court. Nandlal revealed that the photocopying cost alone for one of the two appeals was approximately 500,000 Guyana dollars. Nandlal said, and I quote, "The charge out rate for one counsel approximates to several hundred US dollars per hour. In short, several millions of dollars will have to be paid in cost by those against whom orders are directed." End of quote. The PPP had maintained during several legal battles during the prolonged electoral process that the APNU plus AFC was abusing the courts by bringing cases which were frivolous in nature and had no chance of success. Bibi Khatun reporting for the newsroom.
The Liberty and Justice Party, that's the LJP, will be the first to take up the parliamentary seat won by the joinder list, and the party's leader, Lennox Schumann, is likely to be that candidate. The LJP will soon make a final decision as to who will be the parliamentarian. The LJP, which joined its list with a new and united Guyana and a new movement, garnered 2,657 votes at the March 2 polls, the most among the joinders. These three parties together won 5,214 votes to give them one seat in the National Assembly. According to the agreement signed by the three parties, each member will resign from the National Assembly to allow for a member from another party to take up the seat. It was previously agreed by the parties that they all must decide on how to vote on motions and bills taken to the House for approval. Further, the parties are expected to use their one seat to table motions to effect change. We tell you now that a 45-year-old garbage collector employed by Puran Brothers Disposal Service was on Tuesday morning killed after a Canter crashed into him at Vryslust Public Road on the east coast of Demerara. Police headquarters reported that the driver of the Canter suffered a heart attack. Isnella Patwa reports.
An early morning horrific accident involving a garbage truck and a Canter occurred on the Vryslust Public Road, East Coast, Demerara on Tuesday. 44-year-old Javier Isfahani of Lenora, West Coast, Demerara, was killed on the spot when the Canter crashed into him. Both of his legs were also severed. The accident occurred at about 5:30 hours. Isfahani was employed with Puran Brothers Disposal and was working behind the truck at the time of the accident. He was also wearing a reflective vest and the truck was stationary on the corner of the road. A resident in the area told the newsroom that she heard a loud impact and upon investigation she saw the accident. Meanwhile, police headquarters stated that the driver of the Canter involved in the accident suffered a heart attack. Police headquarters could not say if the 52-year-old resident of 1 Mile Hillfoot, Soosdijk, Linden Highway suffered a heart attack before or after the accident. CCTV footage shows that the Canter was speeding along the public road and it appears that the driver fell asleep. The driver and a passenger, 46-year-old Wendell Court of Kurukururu, Soosdijk, were both pinned inside the Canter. The Guyana Fire Service took about an hour to cut the Canter to get them out. In addition to the heart attack, the driver also received severe injuries about the body, while Kurt suffered a broken leg. They were taken to the Georgetown Public Hospital and admitted to the male surgical ward. Puran Brothers in a statement said Isfahani and a porter were in compliance with all road safety acts and standard operating procedures. In expressing condolences to the family of Isfahani, the company further urged that road users exercise the 5 C's: care, caution, courtesy, consideration, and common sense to prevent further accidents, pain, and suffering to victims and family members. Reporting for the newsroom, I am Isanella Patwa.
An early morning fire destroys the Chase Academy building and the Gifted Hands Special Needs School. A former army captain is sentenced to life imprisonment for killing his wife, and police are probing the execution of an East Rheinfeldt man. Those and more when the newsroom returns. Welcome back. This is the newsroom. A fire of unknown origin on Tuesday morning destroyed the administrative building at the Chase Academy in Parade Street, Georgetown. The Gifted Hands Special Needs Learning Center, located in the same building, was also destroyed. Isnella Patwa reports.
The Guyana Fire Service is investigating the cause of a fire which started about 2 hours 30 on Tuesday at the Chase Academy Administrative Building on Parade Street, Kingston, Georgetown. The 3-story building housed the office of the school's principal and owner, Henry Chase, the staff room and classrooms, along with the Gifted Hands Special Needs Learning Center, which is on the 2nd floor. The fire started in the principal's office and quickly spread throughout the building. The newsroom understands that the school-based assessment, SBAs of CSEC students, was destroyed in the fire. However, it was noted that the SBAs would have already been marked and sent to the Caribbean Examination Council, CXC. The living security guard, William Arthur, spoke with the newsroom at the scene on Tuesday.
The plate was red smoking, right? So I was on the first corridor. I was downstairs. And when I came, I saw in the HM office, right? There was fire there.
Okay, and what did you
right? And I ran back up and I turned off the main switch. Right? And I took a piece of wood because I wanted to break the door, right? But the door wasn't breaking. And in the meantime, the fire, start to develop more, right?
Meanwhile, the owner for Gifted Hands Special Needs Learning Center, Marcia Smith, spoke with the newsroom via telephone on Tuesday. Smith said she was renting at the building and now has to find another location. When the school closed in early March to prevent the spread of COVID-19, it had a total of 24 students. The Gifted Hands Special Needs Learning Center has been in operation for 8 years now.
I had everything for my school, every single thing. Television, fans, stationery, everything. If anyone is willing to give me a building somewhere where the children can go.
The Guyana Fire Service arrived on scene shortly after the fire started and managed to prevent the fire from spreading to the other buildings. Reporting for the newsroom, I am Isanella Patwa.
In the courts now, the former Guyana Defence Force Captain Orwin Sandy was on Tuesday sentenced to life imprisonment with the possibility of parole after serving 20 years for shooting his reputed wife, Riona Payne, to death on March 31, 2018 in Alexander Village, Georgetown. The 38-year-old army man had pleaded guilty to the offense of manslaughter before Justice Sanil Kisoon via a Zoom hearing last week. He was initially charged with the capital offense of murder but opted to plead to the lesser offense. The state was represented by prosecutor Lisa Cave, while Sandy was represented by attorney-at-law Ravindra Mahabir. During the sentencing hearing on Tuesday morning, Payne's ex-husband, Richard Bevany, gave an impact statement. Bevany told the court that he and Payne were married for 12 years and had 3 children together. He explained that they were separated for 6 years, during which Payne got into a relationship with Sandy. According to Bevany, his ex-wife's death has impacted the lives of their children tremendously, which caused their oldest daughter to become suicidal and the youngest son to run away from home. Bevany said he has forgiven Sandy but wants to know why he killed Payne. Sandy's attorney told the court that his client was provoked by Payne and had a sudden temporary loss of self-control. The defense lawyer said there is hope for rehabilitation of his client. Meanwhile, Prosecutor Cave urged the court to consider that Payne lost her life and the amount of times she was shot by Sandy. The prosecutor asked the judge to impose a sentence that will deter like-minded individuals from committing similar crimes. Justice Kissoon noted that gun-related violence by intimate partners cannot be condoned and such crimes are a plague in society. The newsroom had reported that on the day in question, Sandy and Payne were observed by residents arguing in his car when Payne took his service revolver and threw it out the car, after which he exited the vehicle. Sandy exited the car, picked up the gun and shot at a fleeing Payne. After she fell to the ground, it is alleged that he stood over her and emptied the gun to her body. Sandy then drove himself to the Rheinveld police station, where he surrendered and handed over the murder weapon. A post-mortem report revealed that Payne was shot approximately 14 times, 13 times the chest and once to the head. Police are investigating the execution-style killing of 25-year-old Rundle Haynes, called Trini, who was gunned down on Durban Street, Georgetown, Monday night. His family told the newsroom that for the past month, Haynes has been receiving death threats from an East Rheinveld resident he had issues with. Isnel Patwa tells us more.
25-year-old Rondell Haynes, a father of one, was killed during a drive-by shooting at the corners of Durban and Chapel Streets in Georgetown. Haynes was shot multiple times and died on the spot. When the newsroom visited his home at Mango Lane, East Rheinveld on Tuesday, his sister Sharona Beckel said she received a call that her brother had been shot, but she did not know that he died.
I was standing on the corner on my phone and I received a phone call at the same time. So I answered my phone and the person saying that come down on Durban Street, that my brother got shot, come down and see. So I went there, I witnessed my brother. Yes, he did get shot. Oh my God.
According to an uncle, O'Neill Haynes, his nephew was involved in an altercation with another resident about a month ago. The uncle explained that the men were involved in an argument about using a bathroom and his nephew was injured. In retaliation, Haynes broke a car window belonging to the resident. Since then, he has been receiving death threats. The family believes this is why he was killed.
The grievance was about breaking a car window, scream. Assault him and he break the window, scream, because he didn't get to hit him back.
When was this?
About last month ago. And the son said he's going to kill him when he catch him.
Meanwhile, Haynes' sister said he returned to Ghana from Barbados 2 months ago.
My brother, a very joyful person, friendly. Everybody know him.
The family is hoping that the police conduct a thorough investigation and that the suspects are brought to justice. Reporting for the newsroom, I am Isnel Pato.
When the newsroom returns, Guyana records its 22nd COVID-19 death, and a Diamond resident is left paralyzed after visiting the hospital to be treated for asthma. Welcome back. This is the newsroom. A Diamond, the East Bank Demerara family is accusing doctors at the Diamond Hospital of negligence after a 46-year-old man who visited the facility to treat his asthma has been left paralyzed. The family is now seeking answers and are calling for an investigation into the matter. Bibi Katoon reports.
Ronald Lawachi is currently at home in a vegetative state where he is being cared for by his wife Anita and a nurse employed by the family. The newsroom visited the family and spoke with his wife, but she did not want her face on camera.
And for the past 8 weeks, we've been suffering. My husband has been suffering because it's mentally, emotionally, physically, and financially. It's been hard for us. And why I'm doing this is because I don't want anybody else to go through this.
Lawachi visited the Diamond Hospital on June 7th as he suffers from chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. On June 8th, the man's daughter visited the hospital where she was told that her father went to urinate and then complained of being unable to breathe. He suffered a seizure. Lawachi was resuscitated by the doctor on duty but subsequently slipped into a coma and was transferred to the Georgetown Public Hospital where he suffered from additional seizures.
All day that day, Monday, he had seizure. He was at the hospital, and one of the doctors keep asking what medication he was using. He wasn't on any medication. So I don't know. Diamond Hospital was supposed to send a chart or something what they gave him, but they didn't. That's why the doctor keep asking.
Anita said if the health workers had transported her husband with his chart, it would have allowed the doctors at the GPHC to treat him in a timelier manner. After 8 weeks in the hospital, the father of 5 was discharged and sent home last Wednesday. but he now suffers from bed sores and other skin conditions which he developed while at the GPHC. The man's wife is also accusing the nurses at the GPHC of carelessness since they did not care for him properly, nor did they inform the family that they needed assistance.
Animals, you won't do that to them. And he's human, he has a family. If you know in the hospital, in the ward, that you can't take care of all these patients, I understand that maybe they're too much and the nurses are a little bit, but let the family know. Let us know what we can do for him. Advise us what to do before we reach that stage. Now he's suffering and we're suffering too behind him.
An MRI scan showed that Mr. Lawachi suffered brain damage. Anita believes that her husband's condition resulted from a 45 minutes resuscitation process undertaken by doctors at the Diamond Hospital before he was transferred to GPHC.
But what we understand is that if you give a patient CPR for 45 minutes, you would get the organs working. But then the person would be a vegetable, right? So, and doctors know that. So he was not supposed to do that.
However, the newsroom understands that brain damage may have been caused by seizure. A doctor explained that resuscitation process can only result in bruises but cannot cause a brain damage. Bibi Katun, Newsroom.
We tell you now that a 79-year-old man from Bedford acting on the east coast of Demerara is the country's 22nd COVID-19 death. Newsroom was reliably informed that Norbert Grant passed away at around 12 hours 30 on Tuesday in the COVID-19 intensive care unit of the Georgetown Public Hospital. He has been a patient of the ICU since July 18. 2 days ago, a 34-year-old East Bank Demerara man also died from COVID-19. Dut Kumar Sukraj was registered as Guyana's 21st COVID-19 death. He passed away on Thursday, July 30, but the information was only released to the media on August 2. A general practitioner at the Letham Regional Hospital was on Sunday last tested positive for COVID-19. Dr. Narash Torres, who was part of the Region 9 COVID-19 task force, believes he became infected while working at the isolation unit of the Letham Hospital since there are inadequate hygienic facilities there. Bibi Katun reports.
Dr. Narash Torres, a general practitioner based at the Letham Regional Hospital, said he began experiencing mild symptoms associated with COVID-19 on Friday last. Earlier in the day, he and a team visited several villages in the North Rupununi region, where they collected 48 samples from persons for testing. Dr. Torres told the newsroom in a telephone interview that he had a bout of dry cough and insisted on getting tested.
I was swabbed last Friday after coming back from the outreach in the North Rupununi district, where we screened and swabbed 48 persons. I had decided to do a swab, but actually I insisted that I was swabbed because I was having a dry cough and I was concerned. It was getting worse with time, so I requested to be swabbed, and on Saturday evening I got back my results and it was positive. Sunday,
Okay.
after lunch.
His symptoms have since increased with a mild headache and nausea. The general practitioner was among 38 new cases recorded in Region 9 on Sunday. Though he has been working with positive patients for months, Dr. Torres said he had never expected to become infected because he was taking all the necessary precautions. However, Dr. Torres lamented the deplorable conditions under which doctors are forced to work and which he believes led him to becoming infected.
We have been taking precautions, yes, but the conditions in which we work under is not up to standards. For example, I was working in the isolation ward with the symptomatic patients, and the room where we would don and doff or put on our PPEs, the door could not have been closed. It was open into the ward with patients, so the AC was blowing into the room where we were supposed to get dressed and stuff. So I have a strong feeling that we got infected.
The newsroom understands that the isolation facility being set up at the Letham Regional Hospital compound has not yet been completed. The facility will include an area for showering so that doctors can bathe after treating isolated patients. As a result of his positive test, several doctors and nurses along with administrative staff at the Letham Regional Hospital have been placed on quarantine for testing. Dr. Torres is urging persons to take the disease seriously and to protect themselves. He noted that while persons in the town of Letem are taking precautions, residents in the villages have not been adhering to the guidelines.
The struggle we're presently facing is in the communities, the Amrina villages, where the culture is unique. Everybody would hang out together. They would, maybe share. The culture is different, and also we got to look at the level of education in these communities. They have poor access to internet, no TV, hardly any radio. So get the message to them is also very difficult. You have to also take into consideration the language barrier. The region 9 is dominated by the Wapishana and the Mapuches. So that's another problem we have.
The general practitioner is also pleading with authorities to assist in blocking persons from crossing the border from Brazil, as over 90% of the region's cases are imported from Brazil. Regional Chairman Brian Alicog told the newsroom during a telephone interview on Monday that there is a shortage of food and sanitizing agents and, most importantly, limited health workers in the region. Bibi Katun reporting for the newsroom.
And Guyana on August 3 recorded 23 new COVID-19 cases, bringing the total number of known cases in the country to 497. The Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Jagdeo Prasad, provided the latest update.
The number of positive cases is now 497, with 22 COVID-related deaths. The number of active cases in institutional isolation is 289. 38 persons are in institutional quarantine and 2 persons are in the COVID ICU. To date, 186 persons have recovered. The regional distribution of positive cases came from Region number 7, 8 cases, Region number 9, Arnaputa and Anay areas, Region number 8, Canapan, 4 cases. Fellow Guyanese, I know that you have been following closely these daily briefs and that you are aware that our cases continue to climb, especially in the hotspot areas of Regions 7 and 9. You would have heard that in the space of 96 hours, that's 4 days, we have reported 96 new cases, which is not a very bright picture. However, I wish to remind you that the coronavirus is not selective or exclusive. It's all around us, in and out of our country, Brazil, Venezuela, and Suriname. So everyone, everywhere, in all the 10 administrative regions, need to make the special effort to continue to play a part in spreading the message about COVID-19. There should be no letting up, complacency, and worse still, a laissez-faire attitude can be our undoing. Sadly, misconceptions about COVID-19 persist, including that the disease doesn't exist, that wearing a mask causes the disease, even testing brings about the disease. We need to dispel these myths if we are going to break the back of the camel, not only in Regions 7 and 9, but in every community. This is the only way that we can support the selfless efforts of the health workers on the front line who are risking their lives to prevent the further transmission of the raging coronavirus disease. This brings me to the whole question of testing, which determines our positives and negative cases and put in train our surveillance team to track the contacts and identify additional sources. I wish to make a special plea to our younger persons not to delay but seek medical attention at the earliest. Fellow Guyanese, our irresponsible action impinges greatly on our health workers, whom we need to protect at all costs. They have families just like us. They want to enjoy life too. They deserve it. but they are making the sacrifice to protect all of us.
When the newsroom returns, the financial, weather and Brit reports along with sport. Stay tuned. Welcome back now for a look at what's happening in sport. We're starting us off with some cricket news. Australia's home T20 International Series against the West Indies has been postponed because of the COVID-19 situation, and that means that the IPL now has an uninterrupted window between September 19 and November 10 as far as international cricket is concerned. West Indies were scheduled to play matches in Townsville, Cairns and the Gold Coast on October 4, 6 and 9, with the series being seen as a precursor to the now postponed Men's T20 World Cup, originally set to start on October 18. Now the only potential clash for the IPL, even if by just 2 days, is with the proposed Lanka Premier League, which has a finish date of September 20. However, Sri Lanka Cricket over the last week stated that it is considering advancing the dates to ensure there is no overlap with the IPL. As such, only 2 Sri Lankan players, Lasith Malinga from Mumbai Indians and Isuru Udana of Royal Challengers Bangalore, are contracted in the IPL. National cricketer Joshua Prasad celebrated his 20th birthday this year, but the young man has already gone through a roller coaster of emotions in what was a blossoming career at the youth level. He is now working hard to force his way into the senior team. Akim Green spoke to the player and fired this report.
Throughout his days at youth cricket for Guyana, Prasad was seen as a tremendous talent behind the wicket with his quick glove work and then a wristy player in front of the stumps. His promise and undoubted talent was given a platform for the world to see at the Under-19 Youth World Cup in 2018, which was held in New Zealand. For more than a year, he went to numerous camps and even toured South Africa. It was poised to be an even more memorable tournament since 4 other Guyanese were in the 15-man squad. Set to feature in the tournament, Prasad did not get to play in a match as his mother, his biggest supporter, passed away in a car accident in the United States of America on January 17, 2018, 4 days after West Indies played their first match. Prasad later had to leave the tournament. Since then, his career took an understandable dip in form from dealing with the loss, but now it seems he is back on track to achieve his best.
For me, that was the turning point of my career. Basically, the World Cup Under-19 was my dream tournament, and to reach so far and then got a call that my mom passed away, that was touching for me. But now, as you can see, I'm really working hard and I really want to make a comeback. I really want to make her proud.
After missing out on Cricket Guyana's Inc. Academy contract for the 2019-2020 season, Prasad went to Trinidad and Tobago, where he was a leading run scorer in the national premiership before COVID-19 suspended the season. Playing for reigning champions Al Second Comets, he scored 427 runs with a best of 123 not out and also had 2 half-centuries.
Currently, I'm training hard. This year, personally for me, I went to Trinidad. I got some runs in the National League in Trinidad, but right now I'm just training hard, trying to make a comeback with Guyana team, back in the setup. And for me, basically, this is it. Just train hard right now, work, and hope for a comeback sooner or later.
In March 2018, the right-handed batsman moved from Guyana Cricket Club to the Demerara Cricket Club, where he scored 150 in his maiden first division match for DCC. Lal, as he's commonly called by teammates, wants to replicate such performances on a consistent level, and he has voiced that it is a link to improved fitness.
Consistency. For me, making runs, well, at this point, my fitness. I'm really working hard on my fitness, and consistency is basically the key to make a comeback in senior cricket.
3 of Prasad's West Indies Under-19 teammates, Ashmid Ned, Ronaldo Ali Mohammed and Bhaskar Yadram, have gone on to play List A or first-class cricket. Along with their progress and that of close friend Shafin Rutherford, Prasad said he is conscious that he could just be a prolific season away from forcing his name back into the reckoning. For the newsroom, Akim Green.
Still in cricket, IPL title rights holders Vivo are likely to pull out of this year's tournament, ESPN Cricinfo understands. The development follows a public outcry over the tournament's association with Vivo, a Chinese company, following clashes at the India-China border in June. Neither the BCCI nor Vivo was available for comment on the issue. In June, the BCCI had said it would review the sponsorship deals concerning the IPL, but did not name any brand. The decision is not likely to significantly affect the franchises financially. ESPN Cricinfo spoke with several franchises, each of whom said that while the IPL was yet to inform them of the development, they were not fussed at the news. It is understood that each franchise gets approximately 20 crores per year from the Vivo contract. As far as they're concerned, as long as the BCCI can rope in a replacement for Vivo, this development will not have any impact on them. Vivo had bagged the title sponsorship for 2 years initially in 2015 and retained the rights, signing a 5-year contract in 2017, paying about $341 million US. Now, the Guyana Jump Rope Federation will host a virtual camp from August 10 to 14, and Vice President Shavin Green told Newsroom Sport on Tuesday he expects the sessions to be very competitive. Akim Green reports.
Under normal circumstances, the Federation will be hosting an in-person camp, but due to COVID-19 regulations, they will use the platform of Zoom to keep their athletes in check and hopefully attract new members.
Well, we want them to learn the different aspects of the sport. Competitive jump rope, there is freestyle, there is speed skipping and power skills. So we'll be touching on some of the basics of freestyle because we can't get too advanced because you're in the space of your home. But we're going to be teaching freestyle tricks from basic to as high as we can possibly go, and also we're going to be teaching speed aspect. And it's also, we're going to do some fun stuff where we have some dances, and we're looking at the fitness aspect, whereby we're doing some jump rope workouts. So it's not just about the competition part, but how you can use jump rope to help develop your fitness at home during this pandemic.
Green, who's also a level 1 instructor, indicated the program is growing with the support of the Ministry of Education Allied Arts Division.
Jump rope started here in Guyana in 2010, I believe. It was introduced by Trinidad through a program called Jump Rope for Heart. In 2012, there was some bit of reintroduction, and it was on the surface. We went to a couple of regions, and it was taught in those regions. And then in 2015, we had our first jump rope competition in Linden. And since then, it has been somewhat of a hit during our Tongue Week celebrations. This would have been our 7th year for competition, but due to the pandemic, we weren't able to have that competition. But we still want to have the training being done.
With the core of the participants being school children with ages from as young as 6 to 18 years of age, Green said there are also older persons who engage in practice, and hopes the virtual training attracts an even wider demographic.
Jump rope is fun. It's fun. It's a great fitness tool. If you check the benefits of jump rope, 30 minutes, 10 minutes of jump rope is actually equivalent to 30 minutes of jogging. So the kind of cardio workout that you're going to get in 10 minutes from jump rope is like if you're going to run 30 minutes on the road, and you don't want to be out there at this time especially. So you want to, be with the rope. And it's more than just the fitness, it's also fun. You can do a lot of tricks. We'll be teaching a lot of tricks, and some crafty things that you can do with the rope. How you can coordinate the rope to your fitness workout and to your fitness program. I recently saw a production by the same newsroom here that there was a guy that he was kind of overweight, and he was skipping for some bit of time, and now he's liking himself. I think AF did a report on that. So it has a lot of benefits. And
is understood the jump rope community under the Federation has close to 200 persons. Only regions 1 and 8 have not been visited as yet to conduct training by the Federation. For the Newsroom, Akim Green.
Some news now out of the CPL. For a sports staff world, the latest edition of the tournament will serve as a global festival with Asian cricketers from several nations competing in a landmark cricket championship. Adding more flavor to the season, Fun88, a leading online gaming operator, is proud to be the official partner of the Hero Caribbean Premier League. CPL said on Tuesday that the strategic partnership will bring cricket enthusiasts closer to the action like never before. One of the most significant features of the partnership will be to create exciting content for fans to enjoy, along with spicing up the championship with a competition that will give fans the chance to win a prize of a lifetime. The CPL gets underway behind closed doors in Trinidad and Tobago on August 18 and will see 33 matches being played at 2 venues in the country. Barbados Tridents will put their title on the line against the Guyana Amazon Warriors, Jamaica Talawas, St. Lucia Zouks, St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots, and Trinbago Knight Riders. Finally, in sport, President of the Guyana Boxing Association and Vice President of the America's Boxing Confederation, Steve Ninval, has organized a 2-day virtual seminar for referees, judges of the English-speaking Caribbean, as well as Haiti, Suriname, and Curacao. Details in this report. The seminar will be conducted by Chairman of the AIBA Referees Judges Commission, Ray Silvers of the USA, and will run from August 8 to 9. So far, 149 participants from 17 countries have registered for the sessions. Guyana will be represented by 8 officials. The local team will be led by AIBA 1-stars Richard Braffett and Lawrence Asana, and the country's first and only AIBA certified international technical officer, Elton Chase. German Craig, Colin Rodney, Nicola Yap, Shanice Agard, and Danola Bristol are the other Guyanese. The Referees Judges Seminar follows close on the heels of a coaches seminar run by the America's Boxing Confederation a few weeks ago. Guyana was represented by Terence Poole MS, Seabert Blake, Clive Atwell, Joseph Murray, and Erlen Rogers. Ninval said the upcoming seminar was discussed with Silvers while the two were in Panama in January. Ninval said, and I quote, "Mr. Silvers was very eager to have this happen, and we would have had cogent discussions in Panama. However, the advent of COVID-19 has forced us to make it a virtual one," end quote. Ninval, also the chairman of the Caribbean Steering Committee, added that a seminar to update coaches on the technical aspects associated with scoring of fights will be conducted soon after. He said, and I quote, "If we are to train our fighters to win, then it is important that our coaches understand what the referees and judges are looking for. A lot has changed from the 80s and 90s, end quote. And with that, we've come to the end of the news for this evening. Of course, you can find updates on these and other stories on our website, newsroom.gy, our Facebook page, and Instagram. On behalf of the entire news team, my name is Avinash Ramzan. Be safe. See you back here tomorrow.